Comedy is a form of entertainment that has been around for centuries. It has evolved over time, reflecting changes in society, culture, and technology. Today, we have a diverse range of comedy styles and formats, from stand-up comedy to sitcoms, sketch shows, and online videos. We will explore how comedy has changed over the years and the factors that have influenced its evolution. The early years of comedy. Comedy can be traced back to ancient Greece, where it was an integral part of theater. In the 16th and 17th centuries, comedy was popular in the form of plays and farces. These plays often included slapstick humor, wordplay, and satire of social customs and behavior. In the 19th century, comedy began to take on a more refined and intellectual tone. Satirical magazines and newspapers emerged, which poked fun at political leaders, social norms, and popular culture. This type of comedy was known as wit or humor and was often found in literary works like the novels of Jane Austen and the essays of Mark Twain. The rise of stand-up comedy. Stand-up comedy as we know it today emerged in the early 20th century. Vaudeville shows featured comedians who would perform short skits and jokes in between musical acts. In the 1950s and 1960s, stand-up comedy became more popular, thanks to comedians like Lenny Bruce, Richard Pryor, and George Carlin, who pushed the boundaries of what was considered acceptable comedy. In the 1970s and 1980s, stand-up comedy became even more mainstream, with comedians like Eddie Murphy and Jerry Seinfeld achieving widespread popularity. Stand-up comedy clubs began to open up in cities across the country, providing a venue for up-and-coming comedians to hone their craft. The influence of television. Television has had a significant impact on the evolution of comedy. The rise of sitcoms in the 1950s and 1960s, such as I Love Lucy and The Dick Van Dyke Show, introduced a new format for comedy. These shows featured a recurring cast of characters and often dealt with everyday situations and family dynamics. In the 1970s and 1980s, sketch comedy shows like Saturday Night Live and Monty Python's Flying Circus became popular. These shows featured a rotating cast of comedians who would perform short skits and sketches, often with political or social commentary. The Internet and social media. In recent years, the rise of the Internet and social media has had a significant impact on the world of comedy. Comedians can now reach a global audience through online platforms like YouTube and Instagram. This has led to the emergence of new forms of comedy, such as viral videos, memes, and online sketches. Social media has also allowed comedians to interact more directly with their audience. Twitter, for example, has become a platform for comedians to share jokes and commentary on current events, often in real time. Changing social attitudes. The evolution of comedy has been influenced by changing social attitudes towards certain subjects. In the past, comedy often relied on stereotypes and derogatory humor towards certain groups, such as women, people of color, and the LGBTQ+ community. Today, comedians are expected to be more sensitive and inclusive in their comedy, avoiding harmful stereotypes and offensive language.